Welcome everybody to a review of WWE Stomping Grounds. I gotta say, this pay-per-view was pretty good actually. I mean, in my opinion, they should have made it better actually, because the main event sucks. The rest of the match, great, especially for the pre-show match. And plus, it just sucks that you had like at least 6,000 people show up for the pay-per-view. And this is just sad that WWE had to block those seats from. So let's get on to a pre-show match. So Drew Gulak is your new WWE Cruiserweight Champion. And oh wow, this was a great match. It was a 10-minute match and oh my god, goodness. Seth Rollins must be a big fan of a Cruiserweight match. But then Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins must have forgot that Will Ospreay is one of the best junior heavyweight wrestler in the world. That you all know that he won the Best of the Super Juniors twice, and he is the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and he's the man who's going to be entering this year's G1 Climax 29. And so, congrats to Drew Gulak for becoming the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion. No fly zone, by the way. On to the main card, we got the same result as Becky Lynch defeated Lacey Evans by submission, and still your Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. And oh my god, please don't tell me these two are going to face off at Extreme Rules. Spoiler alert, they will. And then we got a tag team match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and The New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods. And this was a great tag team matchup, actually. And you know what's stupid? Is that Kevin Owens performed a stunner on Xavier Woods to win the match instead of using a pop-up powerbomb. What gives with that? Congrats to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for their victory. Ricochet actually botched his entrance as he did his signature handspring into the ropes, but then he didn't come back around to stick the land perfectly. Instead, Ricochet landed flat on his face. Of course, he did comment his botch on Twitter. And yes, as we get on to the United States Heavyweight Championship, I don't know why I said heavyweight, as Ricochet defeated Samoa Joe to become the new US Champion. And yes, congrats to him. The outcome of this match was when Ricochet performed a cold breaker, which should be a double knee face breaker. And somehow WWE banned the word code breaker out of respect to Chris Jericho because he's on AEW right now. And yeah, he did perform a 630 senton to win the United States Championship. And then immediately after that, Ricochet was congratulated by people backstage like Seth Rollins, Carmella, Charlotte, Heavy Machinery, and the WWE CEO and the man who's a genius of NXT, Triple H. Daniel Bryan, the hometown boy, and Rowan defeated Heavy Machinery to retain their SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And I gotta say, it was a great tag team match as well. And wow, what a standing ovation for Daniel Bryan. Well, sadly, there are only about 6,000 who show up at Stomping Ground. And it's funny thing that they were actually booing Heavy Machinery, considering that they're supporting Daniel Bryan because they're in the hometown of Washington State. But hey, congrats to Daniel Bryan and Rowan for retaining their SmackDown Tag Team titles. And then next up, we got Bayley defeated Alexa Bliss to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship. It's funny that Alexa Bliss has been monologuing and yelling at the referee for some dumb reason as the referee is trying to do his job, and then Nikki Cross tried to interfere for some dumb reason, which cost Alexa Bliss the championship match. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre in a great matchup, better than their match at WrestleMania, and except you had Shane McMahon in the corner. And for some dumb reason, Shane McMahon had to stop the referee's count, and then he decided to attack Roman Reigns, and then does the Coast to Coast, which is a rip-off of Van Terminator's signature move from Rob Van Dam. and somehow it did not count. It didn't make it to a 3 count or near full. At the end of the match, Drew was setting up for the Claymore kick, but then Roman counters with a Superman punch and a spear to win the match. There were some issues for the cage match for the WWE Championship, and honestly, it was alright, but the problem thing is that this match doesn't seem to have the best crowd reaction, because the fact that people couldn't see due to the cage blocking the view on, and on top of that, they didn't have any big screens showing the action in the ring, because Kevin Dunn thinks it's distracting, considering that the screen at the Dome were not showing the action in the ring. I mean, honestly, it might be distracting at a certain degree, but the number of fans who actually know what is going on in the ring drastically goes up when the screens are on. Therefore, a better match is presented on television because they are able to get into it even more. I mean, it's just bad that there aren't enough people showing up for the pay-per-view. I mean, I say that all the time. So, yeah. Congrats to Kofi Kingston retaining his WWE Championship as he ended a fashion way as we all know, a parkour when he jumped over Ziggler through the door to escape the cage first and retain the title. The main event of the evening, Seth Rollins defeated Baron Corbin to retain his Universal Heavyweight Championship. I don't know why I say heavyweight all the time, but whatever. So yeah, the special guest referee, Lacey Evans. Huh? Surprise? No? Alright, let's talk about it. So Baron Corbin chose Lacey Evans. And yes, I've already know what's gonna happen next. Becky Lynch saves the match. And yeah, the fans were actually booing throughout the whole night simply because of the review of the special guest referee, and especially they hate Baron Corbin. And yeah, you can hate the heel wrestler. That's how professional wrestling works. Because considering that people hate Baron Corbin because he's a heel and boring, he's the best heel wrestler in WWE. Not better than MJF, by the way. So for this whole entire time during the main event, the fans were destroying the match as they were chanting randomly such as AEW, BS, Becky Lynch, this is boring, Moxley, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, and others, and especially CM Punk. So whenever Seth Rollins pins Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans does the slow count, and even after Seth Rollins powerbomb Baron Corbin through the English announce table, Lacey count up to 9 before changing the stipulation of the match to a no count out match, which considering that she doesn't have the authority to change the stipulation. Later, Baron used the steel chair that Seth brought to the ring earlier rather than disqualifying Baron. Lacey decided, well, let's add this to a no disqualification match. And then Baron attempted to do the DDT on Seth on the steel chair, but then Seth counters and performed a Falcon Arrow onto the steel chair. Lacey refused to count as Seth turned his attention on her, and then she decided, well, she's going to slap her and then kick her in the nuts, as Baron Corbin is going to do the end of days on him, but then before she counts to 3, Becky Lynch ran out and attacked her. Other referees tried to broke these two up as John Combs, the referee that Baron had blamed for costing him his match at Super Showdown, replaced Lacey Evans during the for the rest of the match, which angers Baron Corbin, and then he does the another end of days on Seth Rollins, but then he counters with a super kick and the stop to retain the Universal title. And that's all that happens at WWE Stomping Ground. So, with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the pay-per-view? Don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe for more content, tap that little bell so you don't want to miss an upload. Peace and good day.